If you would, subscribe to GFS. Once the channel gets big enough, we'll move to twice weekly episodes, but that won't happen unless you subscribe. While in development, Sonic Chaos was known as Sonic the Hedgehog 3, before being renamed Sonic and Tails in Japan and Sonic Chaos everywhere else. It's unknown why they didn't stick with the Sonic 3 name, however we can speculate that since the game came out well before the Genesis version of Sonic 3, Sega wanted to save that name for the Genesis project. Like Sonic 2's 8-bit version, the game was developed by Aspect, taking over from Ancient, who developed the first Sonic 8-bit outing, and by this time was deep into the development of the Streets of Rage series. There is a pre-release version of Sonic Chaos's box art available on the Sonic Retro Wiki. It shows Sonic and Tails holding hands as they run towards the viewer. The art perfectly fits with the North American box art for Sonic 1 through 3, which makes us believe it was probably drawn by Greg Martin, the legendary artist who did the American covers for Sonic 1 through 3. Though to my knowledge, there is no definitive proof he did this piece. But let's be real, it was probably him. I mean, he did do the final cover. Greg for sure did this art. It's of Sonic soaring through the clouds with his rocket boots while Tails watches, and Robotnik sneers with a Chaos Emerald. There's quite a lot of official, classically styled Sonic art for both the Japanese and American releases of Sonic Chaos. And this art doesn't get the attention of the art from the mainline series, so sadly, it isn't as well preserved. A side effect of Yuji Naka and Hirokazu Yasuhara coming to America to work on Sonic 2 and 3 is that you have this split in the series, whereby we have several developers in Japan who worked on a few games in the series for the Master System and Game Gear, as well as the games Sonic CD and Knuckles Chaotix. And these developers added their own reoccurring touches to the series, such as Toot Toot Sonic Warrior being shared between Sonic 2 8-bit, Sonic CD, and Sonic Chaos itself. A version of Metallic Madness music is also shared between all three games. There are also certain shared graphics and an art style between Sonic CD and Knuckles Chaotix, and of course the inclusion of the Super Peel Out here in Sonic Chaos, though it was never adopted in the mainline series, which was developed in America. In fact, the creator of Metal Sonic, Kazuki Hoshino, serves as the creative director of Sonic Team today. And his credits include art on both Sonic CD and Knuckles Chaotix, explaining the similar art assets in addition to Metal Sonic being in both games. Sonic Chaos was also recreated as a fan game mimicking the art style of Sonic Mania. It was created partially by YouTuber A+Start or Andy Collins, who is best known for the Son of a Glitch series here on YouTube. Development got as far as a demo of Turquoise Hill Zone, which was well received. Unfortunately, development of the game seems to have fallen off. Sonic Triple Trouble introduces a new antagonist to the series, Knack the Weasel, or Fang the Sniper in Japan. Knack was designed by Shinichi Higashi, also known as Tuma, a well-known character artist in Japan that worked for Sega at the time. The name Jet was considered for Knack. The design of his nose almost looks like the front of a jet if you squint real hard. That's probably where the name came from. Ultimately, the name Jet would be given to a Sonic Riders character named Jet the Hawk. Interesting to note that Higashi also designed a popular line of vinyl figures, several of which sport a similar design to Fang. Check out this magazine scan of the Great Turquoise Zone, showing an unused cutscene. Knack sees Sonic and pulls a gun on him, a pretty realistic looking pistol at that. I suppose the reason this didn't make it into the final game speaks for itself, although that wouldn't stop Sega all those years later in 2005. Here's an early screenshot of the 3D special stages, minus the plane, which hadn't been implemented yet. Judging from this screenshot, earlier in development, the snowboard from Robotnik Winter was supposed to be used as a surfboard in Great Turquoise Zone. Check out these two screenshots of a prototype peel-out animation, which has a yellow trail behind it. Sonic Triple Trouble has a bunch of promotional art for it too. There's this unused cover by Greg Martin. Check out this art of Sonic and Tails sitting down. This promotional calendar was released for the game in Japan, sporting its Japanese title, Sonic and Tails 2. Speaking of which, Sonic Triple Trouble at one point was going to be called Sonic Chaos 2, at least here in the West. Okay, here's a weird one. And to be clear, I didn't check the manual myself, but it does seem to be an accepted fact online that the Brazilian manual for Sonic Triple Trouble mentions that Knuckles is on vacation, and the character in the game that looks like Knuckles is actually his younger brother, Crucules, or Cruckles? I'm not really sure. Upon finding this out, I googled it, and apparently there's quite a few Sonic fans making designs and stories for this character, which by some stretch could be considered an official Sonic character. I don't know why the manual writer decided to make this change. The only possible reason I can come up with that isn't entirely out there is that Sonic Triple Trouble was released between Sonic 3 and Sonic and Knuckles. Maybe they wanted the canon to line up better, since by release schedules, Sonic Triple Trouble would take place between the two Genesis outings, although I admit that's a stretch. In spite of no official Master System port, in 2009 a port of Triple Trouble was made to the Master System. The port was made by Hacking Scene member Glitch. While the conversion to the Master System does mean the game can make use of fewer colors, the larger resolution and ability to play on TV make this a fair trade-off. The Zone Robotnik Winter marks one of the few times the Robotnik name was used in Japan for Dr. Eggman, though he's still called Dr. Eggman in the manual. So from the perspective of a Japanese player, they would not know the name Robotnik referenced the Eggman. For Sega's Consumer Electronics Show in 1994, Sega hired Lou Rawls, who was a soul singer, best known for his 1976 hit You'll Never Find Another Love Like Mine. They hired him to host the promotional video they would hand out to potential buyers. The video is a pretty surreal look at 90s Sega culture mixed with Lou Rawls for some reason, but watching him feign enthusiasm for Sonic Triple Trouble while sounding like he's reading a 3rd grade book report, probably kind of like me actually, makes it all worth it. As with Sonic Chaos, there is a fan game for Sonic Triple Trouble, created by sometimes voice of the channel, Noah Copeland. The best part is, unlike Sonic Chaos's fan game outing, this one's actually finished and ready to play for Windows and Android. The reimagining is among the best fan game projects out there, and well worth a playthrough. On a personal note, Meta Jungorilla is actually called Meta Jungle. In a case of a reverse Mandela effect, y'all have been brainwashed into thinking it was Meta Jungorilla. But it was never Meta Jungorilla. It was Meta Jungle. It was always Meta Jungle. I remember it being Meta Jungle. My theory is when Noah Copeland decided to recreate Sonic Triple Trouble instead of G-Sonic, he split the timeline in two, and the consequences of that decision rippled forwards and backwards in time. I'm the only one that remembers the truth. Anyway, if you're interested in more videos like this, make sure to join the channel, or at least subscribe and leave a comment. You made it this far, you may as well. Thanks for watching. This has been a Game Fact Special.